Hello and welcome to the Below the Double Yellow Racing Series, live tonight from Mid-Ohio for the Up There Disc Golf 100. This series brought to you by KHIO, Martin Sports, Sailor Tarot Magic, and Up There Disc Golf, as well as Affinity for Gaming. And looking forward to an exciting night of road course racing here with these drivers in the Xfinity machines in the middle of Ohio, as the name of the racetrack suggests. We'll take a few quick looks at the track information coming into tonight's race here in Lexington, Ohio. Just 2.25 miles with 13 turns. Going to be the challenging course that they'll tackle here tonight. Looking forward to seeing who can take home the victory in race number 10 of this 20 race season. My name is Adam Baker, and I'm joined in the booth tonight by Alec Martinez. Alec, good to be back with you here, and looking forward to seeing these guys duke it out here on the road course tonight.
Yes, sir, it is, and it's our second road course of the year, and it's going to be our final road course of the regular season until I believe we go to Watkins Glen at least later in the chase. But some big names not here. No Bailey Turner, no who we normally deem as the favorite coming into a track like Mid Ohio with AJ Stravato. He's not here, so that'll be very interesting to monitor. If somebody can overtake that pile and also maybe stop Jeff Wright. We know Jeff Wright always good at Sonoma, but Mid Ohio, much different racetrack than Sonoma. He seems to not have the track record in any of the other road courses like he does at Sonoma. So maybe we could be looking at our fifth different winner of the year, or maybe Keith Mayata go back to back.
Yeah, as we take a look at the points coming into tonight's race, Jeff Wright is your points leader. Keith Maotto, though, after his victory last week at Martinsville, his first in a long time, goes up to second in the points. Brody Hayes still looking for that first win of the season. He is not going to be out here tonight, along with AJ Stravato. Looks like we do have Ray Massey. I believe he was in the field. Yes, he is out here tonight. So he'll try and gain a couple of spots in the standings. But yeah, it would be interesting to see another winner. And Jeff Wright, maybe he can add to that tally, which is already substantial just halfway through this season. So definitely has been on a tear, as he has been the last few seasons, and not a surprise to see him quick here so far in the qualifying session at Mid-Ohio. As we turn to the track side, we'll take a look at where the drivers are at and a little bit of a look at the racetrack itself. As we see Jeff Wright on the track right here, working his way around, kind of feathering the throttle here on his warm-up lap. And he'll make his way back towards the Thunder Valley straightaway, back up to the start-finish line as he makes it around the final kind of right and then left-hand chicane or S turn here at the end of the racetrack.
And that's more the carousel part. And this track does, have some pretty iconic corners. And this track also known for really tire wear, and I think that's gonna be something to monitor. And only 5 minutes of qualifying, so you can't really afford to make a huge mistake, go off track, not count your lap. And this is the most famous corner of them all coming in, is where Jeff Wright's coming in, turn number 5 on the racetrack. I guess 3 if you really want to go that way. And the keyhole, this will be one of the few passing opportunities that these guys will have. And then now here down this long straightaway, you'll go past turn 6, the kink, and then all the way into a hard braking zone, which is going to be turn number 7. And we know this probably the best passing zone of them all on this racetrack. And corner notorious for a lot of bad wrecks. So we got to be careful under braking, especially with these big, heavy stock cars, managing brakes, modulating the throttle, especially in this section of the course through the madness section. You got to be very, very easy and not, make a mistake, slide the tires too much.
Yeah, let's take a look at the race analysis for tonight's event. 40 laps. It'll be just under 100 miles as they make their way around this track. We will have a mid-race break at lap 12. The drivers will have an opportunity at that point to come down and take tires, and they do have 4 tire sets available. So if the tire wear is greater than we expect, then they may make a second pit stop. But yeah, it'll be lap 12. They'll all come in, and likely won't be anyone that stays out unless they short pit before that. 45-mile-an-hour pit road speed. This is an 80% fuel load and fixed setup race. And again, halfway through the season, only a handful of races yet to go in this regular season before they get to the chase for the championship. Jeff Wright with that substantial championship lead right now, but not going to be the fastest here in qualifying. Keith Mayato goes to the top of the charts.
We were just before we came on air, we were talking about, looking at Jeff Wright on the practice sheets. We were thinking, maybe sandbagging, but maybe just I haven't found the pace. Keith Mayato looks really good. I mean, a half a second faster than Ronnie Osper, and then Chris Samar, not a bad lap for him in the top four. Jace Coley, the rookie, up into third. So good qualifying. Curious to see what Dennis Faircloth can do, although he is on his second lap, so he cannot afford to get another off track. He's going to start in the back. Only 15 cars here tonight, so not a lot, but I think still it looks like a pretty competitive field. So we'll have to see what will happen here in this. Maybe a lap would be very interesting to see if Dennis Faircloth can qualify up in the top 5, top 3, get that track position. That's so key here, because not a lot of passing opportunities other than, you know, just a couple of corners. So really got to make sure you get a good qualifying session and set the tone for the race. And Dennis, no slouch on a road course. He's always been solid. And right there though, that might be might cost him a lap there. He dipped the tire into the grass, but we'll see here as he comes through the carousel, and that will set his lap.
Ooh, big slide.
He was giving her all she's got there, and that will put him up
fourth
to
quickest.
So
Yeah. Nice job there. James Loveland had just jumped up to 4th, and then Faircloth knocks him down a position there into the 5th spot as we get graded up for tonight's event from Mid-Ohio. I'm excited to be back here with these guys, and yeah, short field tonight, but should be very exciting. Road courses always some battles to watch somewhere on the track, and I'm looking forward to seeing these guys duke it out here tonight. Let's go through our starting grid for tonight's race, and we'll head on into the racing action. Let's take a look now. Starting up front, it's going to be Keith Mayato in the number 36 machine, who got the victory last week at Martinsville. Going to try and follow that up here tonight. He'll roll off from the pole position. Ronnie Osmer going to start in the 2nd spot, right there alongside him on the front row. As we go to row number 2, it is going to be Jace Cully in the 65 machine qualifying 3rd. Dennis Faircloth going to start in that 4th position. Rolling off 5th tonight, it's going to be James Loveland. And starting in 6th, Chris Samard, another solid road course racer here, veteran of this series. Jeff Wright, your points leader, rolling off from the 7th position. Noah Mahalski going to start from the 8th spot. Rolling off from 9th tonight, it'll be Jake Mackey. And Cody Adkins going to round out the top 10 in qualifying.
Some guys needing to rebound after last week. Ray Massey starting in 11th. Jeremiah Vincent going off 12th. Max Kostoffer hit one of his best finishes of the season. Comes up and will qualify 13th. Dallas Sullivan will be in 14th. And Alan Dice is going to roll out the field in 15th. But like I said, short field. But BTDY, I think, you know, as we get to the dog days of BTDY, we always say short field but never short on action. I think that's going to be the case tonight. And, you know, this race is going to be interesting. Keith Mayato, maybe get some real momentum going here if he can win this race. And don't count out Ronnie Osprey. Don't count out, how about Jace Coley as well? A driver that we've seen, I think we saw have a really good run at Sonoma until he got spun on a restart. So I think Coley more accustomed to road racing. So this will be very interesting. If he can upset the field, get his first career win tonight, and you know, we'll see how Jeff Wright is coming up through the field. I think he'll find a way to get up through there, but you never know. If he's a little bit off on pace, you know, it's going to be tough to be where he's at and have to get up to the field. And you know, once the leader gets away, it's going to be tough to run him down.
Yeah, clean air, very important, especially in road course racing. But this long back straightaway on this track, you know, it gives you an opportunity to maybe draft a little bit and close the gap up. It'll be interesting to see. Keith is very good on the long run traditionally, good at saving his stuff. A few drivers in here maybe, you know, a little better on the short run, but might burn their tires up. As we take a look at the track conditions in tonight's event, 66-degree air temp at the track temp, up to 93 with all the sunshine you see here. So that is heating up the surface of the racetrack. Hopefully these guys are able to hold on to their stuff, and they're not going to have any cautions other than that lap 12 break to try and catch back up. So yeah, that'll be interesting.
Going to be something to monitor. 12 laps to really get a feel for what you need in that second part of the race, that second part of the run. Get a restart, so that's going to always help. But these 12 laps are going to be important to put yourself in a position for that second stage, and you know, get a feel for what you got here, and see if anybody can beat Keith Mayato, who I'm going to have to say is my pick.
All right, I'll pick Jeff Wright back in that 7th spot, see if he can get his 7th win. Green flag's out. We're off and away in Mid-Ohio.
Oh, Chris Samard goes wide there off of the corner, off turn one. He's going to lose some time and some spots.
Yeah, Chris all the way back to the tail end of the field as they work their way into the next set of corners up in the front. Mayato's gotten clear of Ronnie Osmer. They'll head down the back straightaway, nose to tail. Everybody single file about all the way back to Chris Samard, who's in that 12th position. He's able to clear Max Cost and secure that spot. But yeah, rough start there for Chris. I know he's going through battling an Achilles injury in one of his ankles there, and so that is definitely not going to help you on a road course where you're using both feet, really using them very tactfully too, and it is tough to navigate when you've got an injury like that. Top four starting to create a little bit of separation. Now James Loveland in that 5th spot.
Yeah, probably not the greatest of tracks to come to
Yeah.
an Achilles injury, especially because this track, I would say, requires a lot of braking. Oh, our leader's off the racetrack. He's in the gravel track. Keith Mayato misses the corner.
As he gets it back
Look
on.
over-
Let's take a look at the replay here. Keith Mayato out in front. Yeah, just
wheel hop there.
yeah.
Oh, good save, and this to all the dirt he brings on that racetrack too. So they have to miss that, you know, until cars clean it up. And Ronnie Osmer gets the lead now. Fairclough looking under Coley for second. Fairclough got some really good speed in that 80, and you know, a home track for him would be something Dennis Fairclough could come home and win this race.
Yeah, that would be impressive, and he's not really an underdog, like you said. Very good at these road courses. Has a win a couple seasons back in these Xfinity machines, and as here goes Coley, sends it back down on the inside. Driver's right, able to complete the pass, and Fairclough maybe trying to get back alongside, but he's not quite there. Pushed off the groove a little bit. He'll settle into that 3rd position for the moment as we take a look back, maybe just outside the top 10. We've got a whole bunch of cars here nose to tail at the back of the field. Chris Samard, Max Cost, Dallas Sullivan, Alan Dice, all these guys pretty much hanging right near each other, so no real separation you know, throughout this field.
Yeah, and Chris Smart's trying to get on that comeback just from, you know, the really starting this queue, and he's working himself up, and you know, he started 4th. That, you know, he could have been in that mix for the lead if he just hadn't made that mistake at the beginning of the race in turn 1. But still a long way to go, and you know, as tire wear kicks in, that's really separates the field here. And I tell you what, man, this field is very tight amongst the top 4, or amongst really the entire. Yeah, I'd say the top 4, top 5. They're all turning right around the same lap times, 129.2. So, you know, I tell you what, man, I think it just throws everybody for a loop. Mid-Ohio's not one of those tracks we really talk about a lot. People don't really run a lot. And now you put big stock cars on them. It really, really, you know, kind of messes with you when you come up here and try to run laps. And that last run, or what happened, we saw Fairclough get by Coley, and then Coley get right around him, using that draft down the straightaway and using the best passing opportunity into turn number 6, or excuse me, into 7.
Yeah, and right now Keith Mayato trying to recover from his mistake. He's tracking down Dennis Fairclough, about 2 car lengths of difference there. Coley is all over Ronnie Osmer, though. That is about 1 car length as we'll take a look from the nose of the number 65 machine. Osmer maybe feeling a little bit of that pressure out of his rear mirror.
Yeah, and the Coley Pipe and Steel Supply Incorporated Chevy's digging right now. And how about this story that we got developing? I know it's early in this race, but these two have never won a race in their BTDY career. And Coley, a rookie, Osmer, a rookie last year, or a couple seasons ago, and both looking for their first career wins. And man, they got some really, really good speed. So if they can keep this up throughout the whole 40-lap event, but I mean, behind them, Fairclough, and they're kind of starting to pull Fairclough to Mayato, and even Loveland. He's been separated a fair margin away. So good speed from these top 2 here, both looking for their first win.
Yeah, Mayato just about the same lap times as the top 2, and it looks like Cody Atkins gone around at the tail end of the field here. Down in turn 1, let's take a look at what happened. Maybe just a little too much, I was going to say mustard on that one, but he's got the Duke's Mayo machine. Actually caught the grass a little bit and looped it.
worst time to catch it when you're going through your downshift. So you already got the car kind of uneasy, and then flip the grass, and almost a guarantee that's going to happen. And tell you what, man, these top four are really all over each other. I mean, I know they pulled away from most of the field, but just the top four, they have significant speed compared to everybody else. And Loveland, I'll give credit, he's starting to reel in a little bit. He's losing steam right about a second and a half behind Mayato. Mahalski's not too far behind him, and then these two have kind of gapped themselves from Jeff Wright, who, you know, like I said, surprisingly, just doesn't have the pace, it looks like, and just a little bit off. But battle for the lead here. Coley got a chance on Osprey to the key.
Oh! Bit of contact right there. Able to hang on to it, though. Nice job by Osmer, but that's going to slow them both down. And now it is definitely 4 cars under a blanket as they work back past the start-finish line. Lap number 5 goes up on the pylon, and we've got our top 4 separated by just 1 second. It's not something you see a lot of here in road course racing, especially in the stock cars. There's usually kind of an expert at every track, but like you said, not as common a track to go to, even though this is a real you know, site for the Xfinity machines. It's not something that you know, most leagues will run very often, and cool to see kind of the parity here between a lot of these drivers tonight. And yeah, we've got our kind of second group there with Loveland and Mahalski. You know, these guys are still pretty close together, battling each other, and throughout the field, lots of battles.
Max Cost might have went around, but this is getting a good battle here. And, you know, we don't have a Shane Van Gisbergen or really anybody that dominates. I think other than maybe, I would say AJ Stravada would for sure be the clear-cut favorite if he was racing here tonight. But right now, we have a very, very tight field in terms of lap time and everything. So I'm really enjoying what I'm seeing out of these top 4. And hopefully, if we get this for all 40 laps, man, this is going to be an amazing race. But I'll tell you what, Coley looks like he has a lot of speed, although this time he's going to miss the corner.
Go back.
So by Dice, but yeah, these guys are just inches away from hitting each other and missing a braking zone and getting into one another, and can't afford to make a mistake here. And I think track position seeming like it'll be important. Mayato, who was by far the fastest car in qualifying, now just kind of stuck in fourth.
Yeah, and I don't know that there's much he can do until these guys make mistakes in front of him. It's not the widest racetrack, so there's not necessarily a ton of passing opportunities. Here comes Faircloth, though, sends it down to the inside.
He's going to utilize one of those passing opportunities, and he does so, but Coley's going to have a nice run on the exit. Oh, Keith Mayato just gets into the back of him. That's actually going to hurt his exit, and now Faircloth will move up into second, and now Osmer has a little bit of breathing room, about a half a second, but I think in this once we get out of this first section of the course and we get into the tight turns into the Madness section and in through the X's and Thunder Valley, I think Osmer struggles just a little bit compared to the rest of the guys behind him. So we'll see here if they go, if he can open up that gap. Maybe Coley needs to cool his tires down a little bit just to, you know, manage his stuff a little bit better. But I just think here we see how much time Faircloth gains. Yeah,
he just took the straightest line between those 2 corners, and Osmer maybe not as familiar with, you know, his way around here, or maybe his groove, you know, just a little bit away from the traditional line. And yeah, look at Faircloth. He's trying lots of stuff to kind of carry the momentum into the corner and then get the cleanest, straightest exit off. He's definitely working hard, though. Both of these guys are. You can see the big bobble there from the 80 and the 65 got a little slide on coming out of the final corner. And back into turn number 1. This is definitely a tricky kind of off-camber turn, and they all make it through successfully there. Loveland and Mahalski still nose to tail further back, and you can see all the way back to Ray Massey in 9th on this straightaway. Here comes Mayato now, battling for 3rd.
He's going to get that spot, although Coley's going to have a run on the exit of the keyhole, and here he goes back down to driver's right, and now he'll have the preferred positioning into the corner of turn 7 as he utilizes that draft. Got to be careful, though. Don't want to wheel hop and take both of them out a little hard into the brakes is Coley, and he's going to make that stick. And Mayato, who tries to go back around on the driver's right, going to try to cross him over here. Coley misses the corner. Mayato tries to cross him, but now Coley will have advantage into 9, and Mayato's going to have to wait a little bit longer if he wants to make that pass. Although Coley looks like starting to struggle just a little bit. And tell you what, even though Loveland's starting to reel these guys back in, but I really think Noah Mahalski has a really good car. He didn't qualify probably as good as he'd like to, but he looks a little bit better than Loveland, and even behind Loveland was the second fastest car on the racetrack the last lap.
Yeah, interesting to see how these cars and these drivers kind of change as the run goes on. My auto, you could see he tried so desperately to make that pass on Cully to make his way into third or hold on to the third position. He put the throttle down a little too early, spun the tires in a couple of spots, and that could affect you for a couple of laps here if you don't cool them down. But yeah, definitely the top two starting to pull away from the 65 and the 36, and taking a look at some lap times here. Jeff Wright pretty stable here around 130 flat, so he's somebody to watch for on the long run possibly tonight. Maybe doesn't have the outright short run pace, but if he knows his way around and he has the technique to save his stuff.
For sure. No doubt about that. And Oscar leading every single lap so far in this race. Obviously, Keith Mayato was probably going to lead the first lap, but made a mistake. Got into the gravel, or got to the gravel. Hasn't been able to move up there. Ooh, Oscar missed the corner. Should allow Faircloth to close up. And we talk about this section of the course. Oscar doesn't seem to be the best here, and Faircloth a little bit better here. Let's see who can find a way to get through as they go up through the hills with Thunder Valley, and now into turn 11, and those goes now through the official part of Thunder Valley. And these guys are really going at it here. And I think Faircloth's a little bit faster in this part of the course, but on the other side of the course, the beginning part, Oscar seems to be a little bit better. This time Faircloth peeks in, but Oscar holds on to the lead. Although I think just after we get through 7, I think Faircloth's just better everywhere else, other than the first 6 corners where I feel like Oscar's better, but then from 7 on, Faircloth's better.
Yeah, really interesting, the ebb and flow of road course racing and the driver's strengths and weaknesses becoming evident, especially as these runs go on. Just a handful of laps yet to go before we get the stage break. We've had a couple positions change hands further back. I believe Jeremiah Vincent lost a couple of spots. Alan Dice, Dallas Sullivan, Cody Atkins, Max Cost have all kind of been duking it out towards the bottom part of the standings, but pretty good racing all throughout this field. And looking here, look at maybe Mahalski taking a peek to driver's right.
Oh, Loveland. Wow, Loveland did a great job here. But what's so great about this section of the course is look what Mahalski can do if he hits it right. He just missed the entry there, but you can kind of cross each other over here and make good time.
Oh boy. Yeah, he actually made a little mistake right there. Got a little too close to Loveland. And here comes Jeff Wright back into the picture on these two.
Mayato made another mistake and just missed the corner, and now Faircloth has a chance on Oscar here for the lead. Although they both go wide, and Faircloth gets tired of the grass and will now lose that time here.
Oh, yeah, really sent it into the tires down, into that one. And here we go back towards the start-finish line. The gap still just about a half second. Good run off that exit, though.
Oh, wow.
Able to gain. Yeah, look at this.
Within 4.5 seconds. This is awesome. This is one of the most competitive road races I think I've ever seen in BTDY. This whole field is just kind of on top of each other in this front part, and really anybody who makes a mistake can cost themselves a position. And I tell you this, man, if Faircloth gets to the lead, I think it's going to be tough to get him out of it.
Yeah, he just tried to force a mistake from Osmer, who was very calm and cool under pressure in that situation as they race down the backstretch here through the kink. The gap still just under 0.4 of a second. It's really just one car length between these two, and strengths and weaknesses, as you said. This is where Dennis really has his best performance on the track is right around these next few corners. There's not really a whole lot of time to be gained in the low speed necessarily. It's this section right here. Look at Osmer, though, through the grass.
That could have been a big mistake, and it could allow Faircloth, if he gets a better drive off of 11 here, to set him up for the set him up for the carousel here. Can't be too aggressive here. He dips a tire off. Osmer goes defensive. Faircloth trying to go high, and I don't think there's enough grip. There's too much marbles up there, and he's going to get stuck here. But now into the carousel, Faircloth has to set him up for the keyhole into turn number 4. That will be his big chance here, and maybe down that straightaway into 7. But here we go, 1 lap to go on the stage.
Yeah, and nobody has brought it down pit road. So,
No, that could have
yeah,
been a
that's interesting.
strategy.
I think they close it a couple laps before
They
the
just
stage.
closed it this last time by.
Okay, just last time by. So, yeah, then
Oh,
nobody's going to be able to make their stop. Here comes Faircloth, nearly gets alongside. The 20 shuts
could
the
do it.
door.
Oh man, he is spinning the tires here. He is still spinning them here. Got a little too happy getting on the throttle there, and that's really going to cost him time. That should
Here comes
allow
Coley.
at least Oscar to get by. Now Coley's got a chance and dives into the braking zone. He might miss the corner
I
here.
think he is. Yeah. Coley off
And there
into
goes
the
Coley.
grass, into the
Here's
gravel.
Oh,
Oh,
Mahoski.
wow, a couple mistakes
He's
there.
gonna watch out getting back on the track. He might hit right, and right goes around, but no, right's going off the track. They both lose position. Coley, the biggest loser of them all there. And now Mayato gets another spot. He's closing up on Faircloth, and that has really let Ronnie Osmer get away.
Yeah, just kept it nice, calm and cool under pressure. You know, Faircloth, a couple little mistakes there cost him a real shot at it. I think.
Another one.
Yeah, here comes Mayato. Can he make a pass before we get to lap number 12? I'm not sure if they are going to throw it at the beginning of the lap or the end of the lap. I think
as soon as Osmer crosses the finish line. And there it is.
There it is, yeah.
Wins phase one, and man, that was some on the edge of your seat racing, and a huge mistake out of Jace Coley there. I got a little. We saw him try to capitalize on the mistake that Faircloth made, and he just overdrove into 7, and that really bit him, and he went way off the track. Luckily, he didn't get stuck in the gravel, and we'll take a look at it here. Just too hard on the brakes. Wheel hops going downshifting, gets in the gravel, keeps his foot in it though to not get stuck in there. And then we'll see Mahalski also miss the corner behind Loveland. And then this is the scary part, right? I almost got clipped by Mahalski rejoining and then get the tire off into the grass. But
yeah, let's take a look here how close this was. Oof, yeah, just about a car width between them. So good avoidance.
If Wright didn't run out of line, he was getting clipped and going around.
As we go back to live, the car's pacing around here, and everybody's definitely going to be coming down for fresh tires.
Yeah.
Looking at the fall off, we were seeing about a second or two. Yeah, it looks like about two. Yeah, a second and a half, 2 seconds for some drivers as the race was going on here. So, yeah, interesting. Ronnie Osmer, though, doing a fantastic job out front. He has led every lap, like you said. And he'll lead them into the pit lane when they come back around. Dennis Faircloth back up to second now. Can he have a good pit stop and maybe beat the 20 out? I believe they're pitting. It's a reverse pit stall, if I'm correct here. It's more like or maybe it's not. No, I think it is to the left, isn't it?
Yeah, I think it's to the left. Yeah,
it's not a Watkins Glen situation.
No, but still, it is the I can't remember. Is the Oh yeah, okay, never mind. The fuel cell or the fuel engagement is still on the left. So yeah, left side pit stalls at least. I know the ethanol rings on the right side, like Watkins Glen or
Yep.
Not even Sonoma. So yeah, no, it's just Watkins Glen. I think Chicago.
And here we go, kind of the access road that gets you onto the pit lane. Gets nice and tight through there, and it's going to be Ronnie Osmer pulling them all down. Nobody made a pit stop beforehand. And we'll see who wins the battle off.
Going to be key to have a good pit stop entry and exit here.
The other end of pit lane.
Could be a way to get a couple positions out of pit road and not have to worry about, making that pass on the track. Faircloth, great pit stop. Get out second. Loveland.
Oh, wow. Jeff Wright too was squeezing his nose in there. Couldn't quite get past the two VSPEED machines, but that looks like Mayato third, Loveland up to fourth.
Chris Samard got up to ninth. It'd be interesting to see if he can kind of throw his hat into the ring. We saw the top 7 on top of each other. Chris Samard was turning at the end of that run. Was turning some pretty good lap times. He was riding about the he turned to 130.4.
Yeah, and that's about as good as any of the leaders were at that point.
Yeah, I mean, we look at what Osmer was turning. He turned to 130.5, so he was actually faster in the leader. So I think maybe it'll be tough to make up 9 spots, but it is doable. And we'll have to see what happens here as we got a long bit of pacing here.
Yeah.
As we go until we come back to green. So I think it's the perfect time to get us to some shout out to our sponsors.
Yeah, let's go take a look.
Sailor Tarot Magic is the spot to get a reading from Sally, an intuitive healer and tarot reader. Known as the Nurturing Reader at New Jersey street fairs, you can also check out our YouTube channel for lunar and astro readings, as well as our Instagram for live weekly readings. Her rates are affordable, and you will leave with a newfound perspective. Sally is now offering an introductory class on tarot cards and intuition, and is available for parties. Call or text 732-314-0777 to schedule your reading today.
Back at the racetrack now, still under the caution flag, but we doubled back up, and it's going to be Ronnie Osmer and Dennis Faircloth leading us back to the start. And Osmer has had control of this race from the get-go, but a lot of guys with a lot of speed here tonight at Mid-Ohio, and it has been exciting. And just taking a look here, Jeff Wright cycled all the way back to 14th. I'm not sure if he made a second pit stop. It looks like he did stop a second time.
He might have got speeding on pit road.
Yeah, it does appear. Yeah, it looks like maybe he topped up on fuel or something. I'm not exactly sure what happened, but we'll have to ask him potentially after the race. Green flag back out here for the Up There Disc Golf 100 at Mid-Ohio. And Osmer and Faircloth into turn number 1.
Oh, this could be big for Dennis. If he can get the lead here, he's going to have preferred positioning into the corner, into the keyhole. We'll count out Keith Mayato behind them now. Osmer going to be on driver's right and left here. Faircloth, I think Faircloth can get the drive off here, get the lead, and he does. Although Osmer's going to have a chance to cross over. Here he comes.
Yeah, Dennis has struggled with the exit off that turn, and here comes Osmer. Big block from the 80. Through the cones for Ronnie Osmer, using every inch of racetrack and then some. And they go side by side.
Coley making a move on Loveland, getting that spot back, the one that he lost. Oh, Osmer almost into the back of Faircloth. Faircloth defensive line here into 8 and then setting up for 9. And this is the part where Faircloth is so good. And this might just give him a little bit of advantage over Osmer and Mayato. And Coley, after making that mistake on the final lap of the stage, is already back up to 4th.
Wow, a big slide there for the 20 as he kind of came up over the crest. And Faircloth with a half-second lead already. We'll see what he's able to do. He's got to hang on to his tires and not push too hard. Here comes Mayato.
Osmer having a terrible, terrible opening lap to this second stage already, back to third, and now under pressure from Jace Coley, who's going to have a run on him going in to turn number 1, although just slid the back end too much. Although here we go into 1, Coley locks up, gives him the bumper, but he holds on.
Oh,
Coley
man.
makes a mistake.
Yeah, big bobble right there, and that's going to open the door for Loveland, maybe Mahalski as they get down into the corner.
Look at Samard now. He's in this picture. He's gotten by Massey and Mackey, and Massey's actually dropped a couple spots, but don't count out Chris Samard either. We saw him make a mistake on the first lap of the race, and now he's back in business.
Another Ohio native in here as well, Jeremiah Vincent, I believe.
Colton.
In the 9th position. He's gained a few spots since the start, so good run for him so far in this one. Coley, though, like you said, battling with Loveland side by side.
That corner is just so off camber. Although he's now set up right for here in the 9 and or up in the 8 into 9, and now Loveland has to go to the dirty part of the racetrack. Contact made there between the 65 and the 02. And looks like Loveland might hold on. Oh, we'll see here. Now they're going to Thunder Valley. These guys now costing each other a lot of time.
I can't believe they haven't wrecked, though. It is a tough place to race side by side. Loveland hanging on to the position.
Oh, no.
Might have sent it a little deep. No. It looks like Coley was trying to cut back. He might send it in here along the right side, but not enough room. And Loveland able to hang on to that 4th position. Top 3 have broken away, though. Osmer kind of all by himself behind Faircloth and Mayato, who are right now the class of the field on this run.
Faircloth opens up about a 7/8 of a second lead here off of 1. And notice the difference in lines. I guess I would say Faircloth it's going to go a little bit more wide, where Mayato hugs the curb a little bit more for a little bit longer, but then the exits are so much different compared to both of them. And Faircloth, it's about a 6/10 of a second. Managed about a half a second, but he's got to keep the tires under him here. That's the big key. He got a long way to go. Keep the tires under him.
Over 160 miles an hour on the brakes, hard, down to just about 60 miles an hour as they turn right and then back to the left, up over the hill, and then down again. And both these guys navigating that section of the racetrack pretty evenly. Mayato maybe a little more conservative right now. Looks like Faircloth pushing his car maybe a little bit harder these first few laps. We know that Dennis really can really ring it out for a few laps at most tracks, and road courses, though, being a little bit more of his specialty. I think he might be a little bit more restrained, and he is really pushing the car, though, on these turn entries. You can see there it goes very wide and then cuts it back across the corner.
You got to think, how much are they pushing, too, because keep my eyes behind him. He's in dirty air. And here he's trying to keep up with Faircloth. They both could be pushing their stuff off, and that gives maybe if Ronnie Osper is saving. We saw him lead the entire stage, and we see Mayato really pushing out the corners. So fighting the back end, I still think Osper, you can't count him out. And Loveland, he looks fast. He was really fast that last lap, actually. Second fastest car on the racetrack. So I know he's 4 seconds behind, but don't count him out. He was running these guys down at the end of that run, and this run is longer than the first run. So long way to go here.
Yeah, Loveland was actually the fastest last time around. He was the only one in the 128.
28. Yeah,
that was his best lap of the race as well, and one of the best, if not, that may actually be the best lap
of the race. Yeah.
So James has found something here. While he was holding off Jace Coley, the next lap he put down was his fastest. So maybe saved a little bit by having to run side by side, and now that the tires are up to temp, might be able to put the power down a little bit better. As Mayato not quite keeping up with Faircloth. He's lost a little bit of ground here.
He made a mistake in the 9, and I think Cossi might have made another mistake there in the 10, and now he's setting up in the carousel here. So I think he made a mistake in 9, made a mistake in 10 and 11, and it allowed Osmer to catch up to him. So now Faircloth's got about a second gap. That'll really help him here. And you see Faircloth now 128.8. Mayato 129.3. Osmer 29.7 or 28.7. And there's Loveland 29.3. So maybe he had a not as good of a lap as last time. So just feel very, very tight. I mean, extremely tight. And look at behind here. Look, Samar's got a run on Mahalski.
Takes a peek to driver's right, and Mahalski's going to leave the space for him. They're going to bang doors a little bit. Not sure that was on purpose, but Samard going to take the position. Mahalski, though, good run off the turn. Here we go into the kink. They're going to be neck and neck. Chris Samard maybe
gonna have...
like an advantage down into this corner, and he should be able to complete the pass. He does. So back.
Samard, 5 seconds is a lot, but he can.
Yeah, he's been one of the fastest cars, even with Achilles injury and all. You know, that is very impressive to see him out here putting on a show like that, and maybe come out of here with a top 5. That would be very impressive. Meanwhile, at the front, Faircloth still hanging on by 3/4 of a second. It's Mayato in that second spot. Osmer, Loveland, Cully, your top 5. Jeff Wright has only... Oh, boy! Faircloth off the racetrack. Mayato takes the lead away. And now Faircloth trying to hang on.
Oh, that's a costly mistake for Faircloth. Now giving Keith Mayato, the pole sitter, the race lead, and that might be all Keith Mayato needs. Some clean air to the nose to just go at it now and pull away.
Let's take a look at what happened there. As we're taking a look at Dennis Faircloth, just really missed the entry. He's been very aggressive in that corner too, right? Really swings it out wide, cuts it back across, gets a nice exit. But yeah, that time it cost him. Pushed a little too hard, a little too far. And right now in that third position, not out of it. Still just 1 second behind Keith Mayato.
And well, now Osmer's there.
And yeah, Osmer closing in. Samard now a little bit closer to the lead, but he's going to go off the racetrack as we're talking about him. And that'll let Noah Mahalski back on through. But yeah, James Loveland still within 3 seconds of the lead. Cully right there in the mix.
2 seconds out of that lead.
Yeah.
Tell you what, man, Loveland's got a good pace right now, and especially if Mayato and Osmer get battling, and then Faircloth will get there, Loveland's going to be there, and very quick. But we see Mayato make mistakes, and although he hasn't really been pressured a lot this race, he's been more on the attack. Osmer, I think, has a little bit better rubber on that car, just for the mere fact, you know, we've seen that he's kind of been managing his stuff, where Mayato and Faircloth are kind of pushing to get away.
Yeah, it was kind of the opposite of the first run, where maybe Ronnie Osmer pushed a little too hard. We've seen Ronnie be really good on some long runs. I believe it was Michigan. Yeah, earlier in the season, right? Another race that we called together, and that was one where he had very good pace, especially on the long run. And this is a completely different animal, being a road course, but not too far from the old Michigan Speedway, just down the road from it pretty much. But yeah, Ronnie doing a great job tonight.
Oh, really good under braking. It's the 20 compared to the 36 that last time. Listen to the keyhole. We'll see here. I mean, he gains about car length and a half on Mayato just going into the braking zone. Oh, Faircloth going a little wide there. But, I mean, 20 is really good here. Although I just think I'm a little bit worried about this section here. We documented earlier in the race that he struggled, and I just think right here he needs to find a little bit more pace in this section of the course, because right here he's losing 3/10 here to Mayato, and that first part of the course he gains, you know, 2-3 tenths back, but he loses it again going through this part of the course.
Yeah, it seems to be pretty consistent with Keith through this section of the track. And so interesting to see how this will all work out. I'm not too sure they'll be able to make it unfueled. Do you know what the fuel mileage is in these things, Alec? I mean, they got to go almost 28 laps, you know, before the checkered flag. Well, from when they pit. It's going to be basically 28 laps for some of these guys.
You're looking at 26 laps on fuel in a tank. So maybe Jeff Wright, that might be the way he wins this race by fuel mileage. But I think no matter what, though, he's just struggling on pace. If he can come out, don't get me wrong, he'll have a decent lead, but his tires will be extremely old. But the pace that he has, I'll be honest with you, it doesn't scare me enough to really work. Although, you know, staying out obviously would be nice, but when did he top off? Only a lap before?
Yeah, just one lap.
You know, he would have to save a lot of fuel. Maybe that's why we're seeing him so off pace, but
Yeah,
it's going to be tight for him to do that. So we'll see. And if anybody else decides to save fuel, that'll be big. But I don't know, man. These top two are starting to get away. Fairclough thinks he pushed his car too hard and made that mistake earlier, and it's costing him a couple, 2 seconds back. Loveland's kind of fallen off here a little bit compared to Mayato and Osberg, who are still in the 129s compared to everybody else in the 130s, if not worse.
Noah Mahalski's still in there
yeah.
in the 129s, but yeah, he's just maybe going to be a little too far back to battle with those top two. But they're pretty tight here still. The top two, about 6 or 7 car lengths separating them. If Osberg can get up there and anything happens between these two, that opens it up for everyone else. So still trying to keep yourself in a good position track wise. Yeah, and we'll see how this thing shakes out. Just under half the race to go. And yeah, Keith Mayato back to the point finally. He's now led a handful of laps. Ronnie Osmer back here in that second position. He's led 14 laps tonight. A very good start to this race where he took the lead away and held on to it for the entire first stage. Fairclough in that third position. He's led 4 laps tonight after starting in 4th. James Loveland in 4th after starting in 5th. Jace Cully, who's fallen a couple spots, but very quick in the opening stages of this race as well, in that 5th position. Noah Mahalski in 6th. Good run for him, up a couple spots. Chris Samard, who fell all the way to the back early on, has climbed back into 7th. Even with his mistake here, has been a good recovery for him. Ray Massey, solid run for him in the 8th spot, up from 11th. Jeremiah Vincent up 3 positions into 9th. And Jeff Wright breaking into the top 10 now. So maybe he was trying to save a little fuel. Like you said, look at the lap time compared to his last few laps. He picked it back up. He's in the 130s again. So might have been saving some fuel.
Who knows? Maybe Fairclough and Loveland, any of these guys start backing off that pace a little bit to save some fuel. Interesting to see if they can. And I'll tell you what, though, Oscar found something in that second part section of this course. I think he did find something there, because faster than Keith Mayato, and he's been closer than he's been the last couple of laps.
Yeah, I think it's all about just putting the pressure on at a road course, right? If you can be there towards the end of this race, the more time that you spend behind somebody like this, I mean, it's going to burn your tires up, but also it's going to cause the guy in front of you to really think about you being back there, right? Every time you go into the braking zone, the thought that the car behind you, is that close, it plays a role. It can really force some mistakes.
I'll never forget, racing with Zach Carr at Sonoma one time. We were on top of each other the entire time, but being behind him, I was able to force him into a couple mistakes. Although right there, that's a mistake from Ronnie Osper. But I was able to force Zach into some mistakes. I got around him, and then he got around me, forced me into a mistake. And yeah, you burn your tires up being behind somebody, but like you said, you apply constant pressure. We see Keith Mayato make a mistake. It's rare for him to do that, but he can do it. He's shown he's human, believe it or not, and he can make a mistake. So we'll see what happens, and what you never know. It's a race. Yeah. Anything can happen.
Yeah, and as the tires get worse and worse too, right? I mean, the run goes on. You got a different fuel load. The tires wear. Guys will start slipping up. You can see Keith a little bobble right there. Even it's not really costing him time right now, but that that bobble now is going to get 2 or 3 times worse before we get to the end of the race. And yeah, I mean, that's going to happen to everybody in the field too, right? It's about minimizing your mistakes, trying to keep it smooth, keep the tires on it. And you can see Dennis Fairclough, he has really seen a lot of fall off happen now. He's about 3/4 of a second per lap slower than the top 2. And James Loveland is keeping him honest here, trying to get up on the podium.
Yeah, Loveland's got good speed. We've seen Coley have good speed, and we've seen Mahalski have good speed. Anybody in this top 6, if you got them to the lead, would probably have a chance of winning it. So, you just never know. We'll see how this race shakes out. If these guys are going to bring it into pit, that'll be something to monitor as this race continues to go on. Will it happen is the question. Will we see somebody bring it down pit road and pit? Then we obviously know they can't make it on fuel, but we know that they're going to pit, and then from there they're on it. But I think these corners are slow enough to back it up enough probably make it on fuel. We'll see. Jeff Wright, obviously we know he's been saving. Has Ray Maxey been saving too? That's obviously a question we need to ask.
Yeah, that is a good question, because he also pit on the same lap as Jeff Wright, and he's got a second and a half over Jeff right now. And I think he's actually just been a little bit faster than Jeff most of this race, or very similar. But right now, Jeff has found a little bit of pace. Ray Massey there, just a 132.85, which is that was actually the slowest lap of anyone that time around. So maybe he has realized that he needs to save at this point to make it to the end.
That last lap, Oscar was watching that battle. He made a mistake off of the final corner, tire in the grass, had to correct it, but has once again pulled back. Although this time, look at how Keith Mayato's backing off the corners. I think he's trying to realize it might be time to save some fuel.
Yeah, this is going to come down to the wire. Maybe Dennis Faircloth was trying to save a little bit too.
Yeah.
It's very interesting.
They've obviously gotten out to a big lead, but now can they back it up? And then if you're Faircloth, you figure out, okay, I saved my tires, I got enough fuel in the tank. Let me go and run these guys out of fuel. That's another possibility. I remember doing that to AJ Stravado at the Roval one time in the Xfinity car.
Yep.
Very tight on fuel, and I thought, well, if I'm going to run out, he's going to run out too. Whoever runs out first will win, or whoever runs out first or last is going to win. And I got fortunate enough. AJ ran out, and I got by him in the middle of NASCAR 3 and 4 and got it. So, there's many ways to win a race, and it'll just be interesting to see how one of these guys, no matter what, obviously somebody's going to win. We just don't know who right now, especially fuel being in the question. It's a lot of factors playing into this race.
It's so interesting to see how this is, this race has changed since that first stage. We had 5 or 6 cars really under a blanket by the end of lap 12 as Faircloth goes off.
Whoa! Another big mistake out of him here, and that's going to give Loveland third. That's going to give Coley and Mahowski a chance to get some more spots, to get some more track position. Obviously, we know no cautions coming out the rest of this race, so we don't have to worry about that.
Alec, I remember that race with you and AJ, and that season of dominance that you had in these Xfinity machines. And as we see Keith Mayato blink out for a second there, but yeah, I mean, we've had a lot of great drivers come through this league, and you're still seeing some of the class of talent that that's still here. Not all these guys are here tonight. We're missing Bailey Turner and Adam Cabot, some of these other guys too that are really strong road racers. And imagine if we had all those guys out here tonight too. That would be a heck of a show.
I've been fortunate enough to race with all these guys, and Keith Farado, he kept me honest in that championship race in Atlanta that one time we had it. So, every single driver in here is capable of winning, and Seth Hatchell, another one, praying for him as well. And he's always been amazing at racing. And Gemmel, a very good road racer. Brody Hayes, I know he's probably in Rockingham tonight. We're missing him. He was always a solid road racer. Bailey Turner's been a solid road racer. AJ Stravado, guys really good on road courses. And
Eric Hutton too. He doesn't get a lot of recognition in that way, but he beat
Angelo
me.
Too.
Yeah, Angelo Ronas. Yeah, all these guys, these names that have passed through this series, are still part of this league. Definitely, really, top level talent for road course racing. It's not something you'll see from all iRacers. Some guys are really good on the ovals, not so good on the road courses, but some of these guys, they're good everywhere you go in a stock car.
Yeah. We've seen past champions. Cabot, like you said, good here. Ben Bafford, good at road course racing. Ollie be good at road course racing. A lot of these guys that have come through BTDY and have gone through there. Matthew Zwack, another one that we've seen, who's now in Coke. I mean, there's just been so much talent to come through BTDY, and I've been fortunate enough to race against. It's just what's great about the iRacing community. Sometimes you get to we're not racing real cars, but man, it feels like sometimes the competition feels real, and it is. Yeah. And that's what we love. I've been fortunate to race against you as well, and heck, I don't want to ever face you in Iowa, I can tell you that.
Well, I'm a bit rusty now, but I would love to get a chance in these again at Iowa. I'm not sure if we've got that coming up in this season or not, but if I'll be around and I've got a wheel and I've got the opportunity to race there, I think I'll give it a shot. Here comes Osmer closing back in. It's just car length between the top two.
Yeah, Cody Atkins dropped out of the race from seeing this ride. Had some damage
Yeah.
on the drivers left, so he's out. Max Cost has been out of the race for just a little bit. So yeah.
I want to give Max a shout out though. He was in the chat here for a second and said he was trying to race with 104-degree fever. So I commend you for that, Max. Get some rest, heal up, and we'll see you hopefully back here next week, healed up and a little bit better shape for racing. This is a tough deal to come out and do a road course race in a stock car, even virtually when you're sick. So yeah, we wish him the best. We wish Seth the best, as he said. Still praying for him, and you know, heard some good things about his treatment so far. You can learn more about what's going on with him and donate at the GoFundMe in the video link or video description below, and do appreciate that. We've also added the 8 emoji to the channel member benefits, so you can throw up an 8 for Seth if you are watching and you're a channel member, just to you know, show him some support. And we do miss him. Excited for when he gets back and he can jump in the car with these guys and put on a show for us, as always. But his teammate right now, you know, carrying the banner for him out here, leading the way at Mid-Ohio. It's going to be 10 laps to go next time, and Keith Maiato, he's hanging on.
Doesn't have enough fuel. Do any of these top two have enough fuel? And everybody's been saving. We've seen Jeff Wright. He's possibly been saving, you know, but this race there's still a lot of question marks on it. And can Osmer get by? Keep on. He's kept them on his entire run. Constantly 4, 3, 4, 5 tenths behind them. It's possible here. It's Coley looking to driver's right here. Fairclough thinks better of it, although Fairclough locks up, misses the corner. And there comes Coley to the outside. Oh, man. Fairclough going to dive it in deep here. Coley off camber. Into the marbles, into the dirt. Now Mahalski with the chance.
This is why you love road course racing. I mean, it is not a given that you're going to make a pass even if a guy makes a mistake. It is tricky stuff here at Mid-Ohio. Some of these corners are almost blind, and it is a challenge with the elevation change, these ups and downs. And Fairclough able to hang on to that spot. Really good job after slipping up a little bit, but Cully knocking on the door. He's closed in from a ways back. And James Loveland, just smooth and steady up here in third, doing a heck of a job.
Oh, Fairclough missed the corner there, and now Cully's going to be able to cross him over into one and have preferred positioning of the car. And Fairclough is struggling with the rear grip. I think he's pushed that car a little too hard. And let's see if he'll cross over Coley here and set him up for one. Coley checks up center, does a great job making sure Fairclough can't cross him over, gets the spot, and now Mahalski has a chance.
These guys all swapping positions, and
Coley missed the corner, and here comes Fairclough to the inside.
That's the thing. You go in, you're excited about gaining the position. A little door contact there as they race back down the straightaway. Fairclough having trouble getting the throttle down, and he's going to rub doors with Noah Mahalski, who's trying to make a 2-for-1 special here. Chris Mard looks on from a little ways back, hoping that these guys all get into it. But yeah, this is it's a fun battle. Right Ronnie Osmer was also right on the back bumper of Keith Maiato. He slipped up and lost a couple of car lengths there. So meanwhile, this battle continues.
Good racing all around. Good, hard, clean racing, and a little contact. Yeah, racing the contact sport. We're seeing it. There'll be a lot of contact this weekend at Bowman Gray. Good NASCAR season starting back up, and BTDY going on, man. It's the best time of the year to be a racing fan. IMSA just started up, 24 hours of Daytona. You know, Formula One starting in March, NASCAR starting this weekend, and IndyCar starting in the beginning of March, man. You know, racing's back, and these guys have kept it sane for the entire winter, and now on the weekends we'll have racing as long as the weekdays here on VSPEED, man. It's just a great time to be a racing fan and a sim racing fan.
It's nice to be a Oh!
He just spun Dennis Fairclough into the gravel, and they both go around, and Coley slips by, Matthew slips by, and so does Vincent. Oh, man, and that's just troublesome for both of them, and Wright gets trapped behind them, but it looks like Mahalski just overdrove it, and he slammed into Dennis Fairclough.
Wow.
Both their nights coming to an end, unfortunately.
They don't have a really good view of it there. Possibly this camera angle.
Under the bridge.
Yeah,
Yeah,
under
under
the
the
bridge.
bridge. He just got into him, although, yeah, just right there, overcooks the corner, and Faircloth's
Yeah.
trying to make it. Gets into him, spins him out, both of them out. And then Samar goes right on by. Coley now has some breathing room, and right now stuck in the middle of this. And it costed him actually a whole lot of time because he had to wait behind them to get going, and they were stuck side by side. So it costed right about, I don't know, 5-6 seconds just that lap. So we'll see how quick he can go by. But he has lost a significant amount of time to Ray Maxey. If Ray Maxey can make it on fuel, if any of these guys can make it on fuel, Ray Maxey, we're thinking might be the guy, and right now he is 3-4 seconds ahead of Jeff Wright.
Yeah, it's gonna be.
Especially with Faircloth trying to hold off Wright, although he just missed the corner.
Yeah,
Man.
Dennis just.
He's driving upset. I can see it. Oh.
Yeah, just a few too many mistakes. Had the pace here tonight to maybe win this thing, and maybe that's all it's been really since he lost the lead there. Made that one mistake, and it's just kind of been maybe kicking himself a little bit over that. But still, time to recover a few more spots potentially. He's in that 8th position. Could still get a solid finish with Jeremiah Vincent and Ray Massey up the road from him there just a little ways. Noah Halski, though, another one who's been basically top 5, top 6 for most of this race, finds himself here in 10th, so not quite where they would like to be. Jeff Wright taking advantage of their mistakes and doing what he needs to do to try and gain a couple more spots, but not going to be his best finish unless things go his way with the fuel mileage situation. But I will know for sure here in a few laps if these guys are really going to have to save hard to make it to the end.
They're turning 130s compared to everybody else, 131. They're still classing the field these top 2, but it's pretty hard. I think you could save enough fuel here. Although Oscar can try to run a lot of fuel, we'll have to see. But Jeff Wright is really getting held up behind Faircloth and held up with Mahalski, so he is losing, countless seconds in precious track position to Ray Massey if we think he's the first guy to make it on fuel, if he can. And who knows, Jeremiah Vincent can make it on fuel margin. How about Jeremiah Vincent running in 6th here? Solid run. I think our biggest mover of the race as well.
Yeah, he has done a fantastic job of 6 positions. And like you said, biggest mover. He's got pressure from Ray Massey, who's just been solidly up here inside the top 10 for all this race as well. But yeah, Jeremiah, his home track, one of his, I think this would be his home track. He's an Ohio native, like you mentioned.
Yeah.
And yeah, trying to put on a good show. He could be the top finishing Ohioan
That is
in tonight's race with Dennis Faircloth falling back here a little bit.
we'll have to see as everybody keeps on it here. I think Jeff Wright might have a run here on Faircloth. These guys continuing to battle. Mahalski there, Mackey there as well. So 4-car battle here. Battle for the lead still going on. Only 8/10 separating the top 2 here. We'll just have to see, monitor that throughout the rest of this race.
A little walk up there. It looks like either Ray Massey or Jeremiah Vincent.
I think it was Loveland missed the corner. He did. Yeah, Loveland's falling back to Cully and Samar. And no, here comes Wright, and Mahalski gives a little tap to Wright here. And Wright gonna miss the corner here and not have the greatest of setups going into turn 10 and 11. And now off of 11 there, and have a little bit of ways to go to catch Faircloth. But yeah, actually, Loveland was the one that we saw that tire smoke from. That's who it was. And now he has dropped, a couple seconds back to Coley and Samad battling for that bottom step on the podium here. And these guys 14 seconds behind the top 2 of Mayato and Osmer.
Yeah, very different race here in the second half compared to the beginning, where all these guys were pretty much under a blanket. And now it's just 2 drivers battling for the win. We were saying during the break that most of the time we only see 2 or 3 cars at the front of the field if we get a battle for a win on a road course. And it was really a treat to see so many guys fighting for it there early on. And it's still, we're setting up for a close finish between Osmer and Mayato. And if those two have any kind of mistake or get together, these guys could be there waiting, if they lose enough time up front.
It would be, it would cost them a lot. I just think right now with how Osmer is in that second section of the course, man, he's just costing him so much time. Ayato's just so much better there. The first part, man, he's so much better. It's just he gives all the time up in this part of the course, this second back half. He needs to find something if he wants to have any hope of getting Keith Mato here, because he's so much better from the final corner on. Ronnie Osber's just better, but everywhere else, this all the way to the I'd say 7. Once we get to that tighter section of the course, Keith Mato just drives away, and right now he's starting to do that because Osmer is trying, but he's just making more mistakes.
Yeah, 5 laps to go, and Keith Mato waited a long time between his second to last win and then last week where he got the victory in Martinsville. It was a long time. I think it was a couple of seasons that Keith went winless. As James Loveland
back again. And he has spun that thing around, and now Coley moves up to 3rd, looking for his first career podium.
Here comes Jeremiah Vincent and Ray Massey.
Massey up to 6th now. Wow, big mistake out of Loveland.
Oh yeah, just lost control into turn 1. Maybe a little too aggressive with the downshift. Upset the balance of the car. How about Chris Samard now back to where he started?
That's incredible. He has chance. Actually, they're just got to get more time on Coley here.
Actually, even better than where he started, right? It says he qualified 6th. That's what I'm seeing.
Amazing.
And he's up to 4th after all that he's been through. Yeah, he could end up on the podium with that Achilles injury. That would be just
that's something.
Yeah, just a shocker.
Mahalski back around Jeff Wright. And Jeff Wright, there's a possibility Jeff Wright might not finish in the top 10 because Jake Mackey has caught these guys.
Yeah, it's just
never thought I'd be saying that against this year, other than a super speedway.
Yeah, Jeff's just struggling a little bit here tonight. Has not had the handle on this car. You can see, a few laps ago, I saw him basically drifting through this part of the track, and I was like, that is not going to be healthy on these tires. And obviously, it's cost him quite a bit of speed here as the run has progressed. This has been a long run on a road course too, right? I mean, we're going to be over 25 laps to the end of the race since they pit. And that's a long ways.
Sorry to cut you off, but man, Oscar, we're talking about him being a second back. Cut it back down to 8 seconds, or 8/10 of a second. Like, he continues to be there and keep hitting, one mistake from Mayato, and Oscar's there. Oh, man, Faircloth got passed by Mahalski here. A lot of good battles on the racetrack, and now Mahalski gets by, and now Wright has a chance to get by. Man, so many good battles on this racetrack.
Oh, there goes Mahalski wide.
Goes wide here.
And Faircloth's going to try and slip on through, but...
Oh, Wright's going to spin. Wow, what a save from Jeff Wright, and he loses that spot, halfway spun, and loses it to Mackey, and Wright falls out of the top 10, 30 seconds back of the lead.
Take a look at this. It looked like Faircloth had a hard time getting the pedal down here as well. He slipped the back end, and then, yeah, Jeff, good save, like you said, nearly went all the way around. Not a mistake you see from him very often.
That car was. Yeah, with that car outside, it looked like he was spinning. And great job saving it here. And tell you what, Massey's all over Vincent. Samard's all over Coley here for 3rd. He might have a chance at him into the carousel here.
Yeah, it's just
coming
about
up on 3 to go.
Car length or 2 back, and out in front, Mayato's increased the lead once again, 1.2 seconds. And, barring any major mistakes, but we've seen a lot of drivers make mistakes tonight, including Keith. But he's been pretty much flawless here this second part of the race. Dennis Faircloth going to lose a spot now to Jeff Wright and Jake Mackey. How about Mackey coming on here at the end of this one?
And Faircloth made the same mistake that he did when he was leading. He went off into the carousel, missed the corner, and he is just, I don't think he has the car or the tires left to propel him enough to get him past Jeff Wright again. We'll see unless Wright makes a mistake, but down this backstretch here comes Samar. Does he have any chance of forcing Coley into a mistake here and giving Coley, although Coley does miss the corner here comes Samar. If he can set him up right, he'll go outside, try to cross him, but pretty dirty up there. A lot of marbles and dirt and grass and gravel up there, although Samar's still right there with him.
Yeah, this is going to be a fun battle to watch at the end of the race, assuming these guys can keep it clean. And almost to the back bumper right there. Chris just a little bit faster right now. It's so hard to make that pass, though, when the tires are this worn out. We're going to be coming back to 2 laps to go, and Mayato's already taken it. Ronnie Osmer back
Yeah.
now 1.6 seconds. So
I'm a little bit worried about Osmer. I think he might be trying to save fuel now because he is really dropped off the pace.
Yeah, these two still much faster than the rest of the field. They're both in the 130s. Even Ronnie being, a good chunk slower than Keith. I mean, Keith ran a 130.1, which is definitely the fastest on track. But
he's moving right now.
Keeping an eye on this one. Samard is right there. How about Jeremiah Vincent in the top 5? This would be a career day for him on a road course, I think.
Oh, it would be. Jake Mackey almost spun into one and allowed Jeff Wright to get next to him here into the keyhole. And Dennis Faircloth running these guys down. They're going to go side by side into the corner. Down the backstretch here, Samard's going to have a chance on Coley here. He peeks the nose, lets Coley know that he's there. See, Coley misses the corner again, locks up. Now Samard going to pull even with his door. Then he crosses him over. He's on the off-camber part into the dirty part of the racetrack. But now he's got preferred positioning into turn 9. Oh, he slides the back end, but he gets it.
Able to take it away. Chris Samard to P3.
Oh, Coley's not done yet.
I don't think either of these guys have the car completely underneath them at this point. They are just wheeling it. And it is Chris Samard taking the spot away. What a recovery from him. Fell all the way to the back. White flag is going to show here for Keith Mayato, looking for 2 in a row as Ronnie Osmer 4 seconds back. I think you're right. I think he's saving. Or he really made a mistake on that last lap. Well, look at him there.
Yeah, no, he's out of fuel the way he's wiggling that car. We'll see. I don't know if he's going to be able to get it back over. Does that mean Chris Samard or Keith Mayato has enough fuel? Is everybody else still going? Still like everybody's doing everything right? Osmer's just sliding around. I don't know. He is really off the pace. I think he's just trying to limp it home. He's got a 15-second gap behind him to second, or to Chris Samard in third, excuse me. But what we'll have to see here is Mackey still holding off Jeff Wright for 10th as Keith Mayato coming up through through that section here and through Mackey goes wide here. Oh, Jeff Wright spin! Jeff Wright goes around, Mackey goes around, but they keep on it. Faircloth is now there.
Faircloth gets around Mackey, and Mackey's still trying to hang on to it, still in the grass. Alan Dice is not far behind all this. What a race it would be for Alan if he could get up there and battle with these guys in the final lap and get a couple spots. As Keith Mayato, just a couple more corners to go. It's been domination here in the second stage for the number 36. Took him a long time to find victory lane once again when he went at Martinsville, and he's going to go 2 for 2 here now at Mid-Ohio in the Up There Disc Golf 100. What a drive for Keith Mayato. Ronnie Osmer in that second spot, and then Chris Samard. We're going to wait for him to come across here into the final set of corners. Started 6th, fell all the way to the tail end of the field, and he has worked his way back to 3rd. He'll finish on the podium. What a drive by the 77. Jace Coley 4th. Jeremiah Vincent hanging on. He'll finish in 5th, top finishing Ohioan, assuming nobody in the top 4 is from Ohio. But James Loveland able to recover to 7th. Noah Mahalski in 8th. Jeff Wright holds off Dennis Faircloth. They'll be 9th and 10th. And Alan Dice able to get around Jake Mackey in the final lap there. He'll finish in the 11th spot. Good run for him. Mackey 12th. Sullivan 13th. And Cody Adkins took it behind the wall there early. 14th. Max Cost 15th. What a race tonight, Alec.
Oh, awesome for 15 cars. What do we say? Short field, but never short of action. And that exactly was that. I mean, amazing racing. Great drive from Keith Mayato to get him to the end. But, oh, my goodness, what amazing racing we saw here from these guys putting on a show at Mid-Ohio. And, man, that was awesome.
Yeah, fun to be here to call this one. I wasn't sure how it was going to go tonight.
Good to have you back.
Yeah, definitely a great time out here, Alec. Let's go to a quick word from our sponsors. We'll be back to interview the top 3 and go through the rest of our results. We're back at Mid Ohio with our third place finisher tonight being Chris Simard. Alec, I believe you are with him here post race.
Yes, I am. Chris Samard, Alec, and Adam in the VC booth. You got a copy, buddy?
Yes, sir.
Well, man, I know you're on the Achilles injury. You come back to a road course, had a mistake early in the race, all the way up to the field and get third. Take us through and how it feels to get this third place finish.
It feels great after the start there. I almost ran in the back of Dennis and went off in a turn one and went off in the grass. But it seemed like everyone was making mistakes tonight. I think every car made a mistake tonight. So I made like 20 of them. It was fun while I was up there in fifth and sixth after the caution there, the stage, and it was fun racing with everybody. So.
It was like a blast to be a part of it. Next week, off from a road course to, I would say, maybe a home track for you at New Hampshire. How do you feel about going out there and trying to back this up with another top three, if not a win?
You know, I love New Hampshire. I know a lot of people don't. They don't care for the track, but I love it. I love how you drive it. And you got to be smooth off the corner, and that doesn't necessarily mean that I'm gonna be smooth at all, because I'm usually not. But it's one of my favorite tracks, so I'm looking forward to it.
It'll be fun to watch you guys attack the new laser scan New Hampshire and I think everything updated there next week. So that'll be fun to watch you guys. Is anybody you want to give a shout out to here tonight for this third place finish?
Just you guys up in the booth, everyone that makes this series happen. It's awesome. Just want to make a shout out to Seth, and praying for you, man, and hope for a quick recovery, and look forward to at least talking to you soon. And one other thing, I didn't get a chance to do this, but it was a while ago. But I like to dedicate this third place to my dad, who passed away in July, and my wife and son, and all my VSPEED teammates. They helped me out a lot. So.
We appreciate it absolutely, Chris, and congratulations on the third place finish, man. A good run, and further proud of you, brother. We appreciate your time, man. We look forward to seeing you again next week in New Hampshire, and hopefully we'll be talking to you again.
All right, thank you, fellas. Have a good night.
You too,
Great job,
man.
Chris.
Have a good one.
Thank you.
And that's Chris Simard, our third place finisher here tonight. We'll move up just a little bit down pit road to the 20 car of Ronnie Osmer. Ronnie, Alec, and Adam in the VC booth. You got a copy, buddy?
Yes, I do.
Well, man, you solid run, led the whole opening stage from start to finish. Got to the second stage, started off on the pole. What happened there? Then given the lead up to Keith there, what more did you maybe need to beat that 36 car?
Not giving the lead in the first place. So just basically, yeah, I knew we were going to be close on fuel for where the stage caution was. So I decided early to do my saving early, let Keith and Dennis hopefully fight each other a bit, and wear themselves out, wear their tires off a bit, and wear some fuel off of them. And then once Dennis made his mistake, I went to pounce on Keith and doing everything I could to keep pressuring him to either mistake or run out of fuel. But I also knew he's smart enough, good enough driver to not let me get close enough to have a shot at him.
For sure. And next week, obviously, you've had some good runs here the last couple of weeks. And next week, go to New Hampshire, the newly revamped iRacing New Hampshire and laser scan and everything. How do you feel about going out there and trying to, run it back here, maybe get another top 3, top 5, if not, maybe win that race next week?
Before the rescan, I always loved going to New Hampshire. It was one of my better tracks, saving tires and being fast at it. But since the rescan, I hadn't had that much luck there yet. So hopefully it turns out better.
For sure. Well, we appreciate your time, Ronnie. Is there anybody you want to give a shout out to here tonight for the second place finish?
Shout out to my guys over at Firelight, and you guys for broadcasting.
Sure. Well, we appreciate your time, Ronnie. Have a wonderful evening, and hopefully look forward to seeing you out next week at New Hampshire, if not talking to you again.
Thank you.
Appreciate you, Ronnie. Have a good night. That's Ronnie Osmer, second place finisher here tonight at Mid Ohio. And Adam Baker is going to be in victory lane here with our winner, Keith Biotto.
Hey, Keith, this is Adam and Alec in the VSPEED booth. You get a copy.
Done for it.
Well, Keith, it's been a while since I talked to you up here in Victory Lane, but I know you got the win last week. Congrats on that. You get 2 in a row now. I know you had to wait a couple of seasons, but how good does it feel to get the victory here and outlast all these guys at Mid-Ohio tonight?
I gotta say, it's pretty amazing to get back-to-back wins after, like a 2-year drought. I was asking the guys, like, was there an update going on? Because I haven't changed anything, and all of a sudden, with back-to-back wins, so it's a good feeling.
Yeah, and really showed off the road course racing abilities here. Saw a lot of drivers make mistakes, slipping and sliding all race long. It was you and Ronnie there kind of in the final stages of this. How did it feel racing with him and also managing some fuel here over the stretch?
Yeah, I'm happy I made my mistake, early on in the race and not in that stint, because if that happened, I never would have recovered from it. But it was definitely a long stint of just being very consistent, trying to save fuel. I was 2 laps at a good when the race ends, so I saved just enough. And yeah, if Ronnie wasn't there, I probably would have been a little more conservative, but he was on me, trying to push me to waste some fuel, and we were just kind of playing games with each other in the last 30 laps.
Yeah, and it was fun to see you guys kind of duking it out and kind of maintaining that gap there, and also just driving away from the rest of the field. But you get 2 VSPEED cars up on the podium here tonight at Mid-Ohio. We go to New Hampshire next week. How do you feel about going out there?
I don't know sometimes. Like I said, if it's based off of last season, probably not so well, but I'll see if I can, carry this momentum into New Hampshire.
Yeah, I know you've had some good runs there over the years, and with the update to the track as well, it might play right into your wheelhouse here. So congrats again tonight, Keith. 2 wins in a row, and climbing up through the point standings as well. Anybody you want to give a shout out to for tonight's race win?
Yeah, shout out to Up There Disc Golf for sponsoring the race tonight. Everything you and Alec do in the VSPEED booth, doing an awesome job every Tuesday night, and to all my VSPEED teammates.
Awesome, Keith. Well, congrats again, and thanks for taking some time here after the race. So go celebrate, and we'll see you next week at New Hampshire.
Thank you. Have a good night.
Thank you.
Great, Keith.
Thanks, Alec.
And that is your race winner here tonight from Mid-Ohio, Keith Mayato, taking his 2nd win in a row. What a drive for him in the number 36 machine, as we are going to head to the rest of our race results rundown from Mid-Ohio. Alec, fantastic night of racing and so much fun watching these guys duke it out here. It was Keith Mayato taking that win, just 2 lead changes. It felt like more than that tonight, but I guess maybe some of those weren't official lead changes. We just had our 1 caution at lap 12. Ronnie Osmer, who led all the way to that point, comes home in 2nd with a good battle there in the second half of this race. Chris Simard fights back from the tail end of the field to 3rd. Chase Coley going to come home in the 4th spot. Strong run for him. Jeremiah Vincent, really good top 5 here tonight. Ray Massey comes home in 6th. James Loveland, who was solid all night, finishes in 7th. Noah Mahalski in 8th. Jeff Wright finishes in 9th. And Dennis Faircloth going to round out the top 10 here this evening. Alan Dice was 11th. Jake Mackey comes home in the 12th spot. Dallas Sullivan 13th. Cody Adkins in 14th. And Max Cost rounds out the field in 15th. Trying to tough it out with a high-grade fever. And hopefully he comes back healed up and a little better shot next week at New Hampshire.
I'm sure he will be. And man, what a great race we saw here tonight. And good to have you a part of it, Adam. I know Logan was out doing something, and I don't know if he'll be back next week, but you look forward to it and having him back. And man, it's going to be a heck of a show going on at New Hampshire. This season's getting wild. And Keith Mayato, man, that guy's catching some momentum here. Jeff Wright, you might have some competition here coming up here.
Yeah, I mean, Keith, one of the all-time winningest drivers in this league as well. It's not a good sign for everybody else when he starts to get momentum. So, yeah, keep an eye on that 36 here for the rest of this season. Just past the halfway point tonight. 10 more races to go. And we hope you join us here on VSPEED for each and every one of them. Want to give a big shout out to Alec up here in the booth. Thanks for being up here with me, and all of our crew here at VSPEED, Bradley Cooper, Eddie Smith, so many other great commentary and production people, and all the sponsors that make this happen here for Below the Double Yellow. We do want to thank you for tuning in. Make sure to like, share, subscribe, and we'll catch you next time from New Hampshire.